Where do you see the UFC heading in 10 years? Will these money fights continue on? And can you give us some insight on more weight classes and what that means for the sport?
Damn, loaded question. So as far as the UFC in 10 years and the money fights, listen, the money fights is a double-edged sword. It gets you the ratings and gets you to sell the company for $4 billion for that year. But looking back, they didn't get to where they got and sold $4 billion by putting on money fights. They got there by putting on the most competitive, the most compelling fights in the rankings, even though there was a ranking system. But we kind of knew, who should be fighting who. And, Sherdog and MMA Junkie had their rankings. So there was still a ranking system that we held, accountable. Now, with the money fights and, they're looking at Nate Diaz Woodley or, Connor, Nate, and these kind of random fights that we're getting. They're fun to watch, but it holds up, GSP Bisbee, you can see now it holds up the divisions. And at the time, you get the pay-per-view numbers, but there's no shortcuts to this game. So over the long haul, ends up actually kind of fucking you, I think. I really do. I really do. So in 10 years, I think in 3 to 5 years, whoever starts taking over the UFC and run it once Dana leaves won't be so hi-ho on these money fights. You're going to see more of a pure sports approach, which gets you back on track. Now, I do like the money fights. I think there's room for them, but you can't ride and die off money fights, which is what they're doing right now. Everything, money fights, but sometimes talent, can bring people to the sport eyeballs. So they're in a tough spot right now because you've made your bed. Money fights is what we ride on, and you don't have a lot of money fights. You don't have a lot of main eventers because you haven't put the marketing or the time to build those guys into money fighters. You're banking on the CM Punks and the Brock Lesnar's and the Ronda, the one and dones here and out, which there's no longevity in that. Dangerous game, super dangerous game, man.